We already got married yesterday. That's what she said. That's how she said it. Standing there barefoot in my kitchen, her voice calm and casual like she was talking about the weather. And just like that, everything I thought I knew about my own son crumbled. Let me take you back to the moment before that moment, when I still believed I had some say in how our family moved forward. The morning sun was peeking through the window blinds. The smell of my freshly brewed chicory coffee danced around the room, mixing with the faint scent of lavender from the dish soap. It was the kind of quiet morning I'd loved for years. A slow slide into the day until she walked in. Her name's Tasha. Pretty girl, no doubt. Long lashes. Always done up in a way that said she valued appearances. My son DeAndre had brought her home 2 Christmases ago. Said he loved her deep. Said she was the one. And from the way he looked at her, I believed him. I wanted to believe he'd finally found someone who made him softer, more grounded. But something about Tasha never sat right with me. Maybe it was the way she didn't look people in the eye unless someone was watching, or how she smiled too much when you asked her a serious question. But I told myself I was being too hard on her, protective, that maybe this was just me learning to let go, to let him be a man. The wedding had been in talks for months. First they said spring, then it was moved to summer. Then they said they wanted something small. Then they said they weren't sure anymore. I never pushed. I just smiled. I said, "Baby, whenever you're ready, just don't shut me out." But standing there in the quiet hush of my kitchen, I felt exactly that. Shut out. She'd come by to pick up some things he left. Or so she said. DeAndre wasn't with her. I asked gently, with that sugary voice I say for young girls I'm still trying to like. "So, y'all ever settle on a date for the wedding?" That's when she said it, plain as a picture. We already got married yesterday, and I remember just blinking once. That's it. Like maybe if I didn't react, I could pause time long enough to rewind it. I asked her to say it again, and she did. This time with a little smile like I was slow to keep up. "It was just courthouse stuff. Nothing big," she added, glancing down at her nails like it wasn't the biggest thing a mother should have been a part of. I didn't say anything for a full 10 seconds. My jaw tightened. My fingers clenched around the coffee mug, just enough for the heat to register. I could hear the tick of the clock above the stove and the slight buzz of the fridge motor under her words. "I see," I said quietly. And I did see. I saw everything. Just weeks before, I had sat across from DeAndre at Lula's Cafe over bowls of gumbo, talking about how maybe this fall would be a good time. He'd asked if I still had my mother's brooch, the one Nana wore on her wedding day. That brooch had been passed down 3 generations of women in our family. I'd cleaned it, boxed it special with lilac tissue, and set it on the dresser in my room, waiting for the day I'd pass it on, the day I'd pin it to his bride's dress. But there'd be no dress, no brooch, no wedding I was invited to. That night when DeAndre came by, hours after she dropped the bomb, I didn't blow up. I didn't scream or cry. That's not how I do things. I just poured him a glass of lemonade and gestured for him to sit. He looked nervous. Couldn't meet my eyes. "You gon' tell me now," I said. "Or she beat you to it." "She told you." "She didn't tell me, baby. She announced it. Like it was a game score I missed on TV." He looked down at his hands, twisted his wedding ring, small and silver, like he was still getting used to the weight of it. I was gonna call after. We wanted it simple. No fuss. No fuss. I repeated. That's what they called cutting your mama out of the most important day of your life. No fuss. He tried to explain how small the ceremony was. Said it was about avoiding pressure, keeping costs down. No guest, just witnesses. Said it was for them, not for anyone else. But what he didn't realize is that it wasn't about being left out of a party. It was about being dismissed as decoration, as optional, as extra. I'd raised that boy with every thread of strength I had. Company school uniform ironed before dawn. Birthday cakes made from scratch, even when I was dead tired from 2 jobs. Doctor's appointments in the rain. Midnight fevers. Every scraped knee kissed. Every hopeful dream protected. And now I mattered so little. I didn't even get a phone call. He said, "It wasn't meant to hurt you, but hurt don't need permission. It shows up when it pleases." That night, I didn't sleep much. I laid in the dark, with the fan humming above me, eyes wide open, trying to make sense of where I'd slipped out of his life like a loose thread. I thought about all the women whose sons outgrow them, whose wives erase history to write their own. But I also knew this pain wasn't about control. It wasn't about wanting to make decisions for him. It was about being seen, being included, being a part of something, instead of left outside with the porch light off. And somewhere between those sleepless hours, something else began to stir inside me. A question I hadn't let myself ask before. Why had she wanted it that way? What was she trying to hide? By marrying my son in secret, I spent the next morning quiet, moving through the house like a ghost in my own space. I folded towels that didn't need folding, refilled sugar in the jar, even though it was already full. Everything felt just a little heavier, like the air itself had weight. DeAndre hadn't called or texted since the night before. I wasn't surprised, but it still stung. It wasn't until I walked past my bedroom dresser that I saw it again. The brooch. It sat there unopened, still wrapped in lilac tissue, as tender as the dream I'd held on to for months. I picked it up slowly, unwrapped it, the metal cool against my fingers. I cradled it in my hand for a moment, letting the light catch the tiny stones that shimmered like hope. Then, I put it back in the box, not ready to let go, but knowing I probably wouldn't be giving it away anytime soon. Eventually, I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I needed answers, and not the kind that came wrapped in, "We didn't want to make a fuss." So I called my cousin Denise. Now Denise is the closest thing I've got to a sister. She lives 2 blocks down, runs a little nail studio out of her back room, and she knows everything about everybody whether you ask or not. We sipped peach tea on her porch while the late afternoon buzzed with cicadas and the smell of barbecued ribs wafted from someone's backyard. I didn't even need to finish the sentence. He done married that girl without you at the wedding. Oh no, sugar. Her face twisted up with the kind of indignation only Southern women carry. Half hurt, half fury. But you know what? She added, lowering her voice. I heard something. Don't know if it means much, but Teresa from the bank says that girl been making small cash deposits. Real regular. Lot more regular than you'd expect for someone temping at the front desk of that dentist's office. I blinked. Cash? Like 300-400 every couple weeks. Quiet money. And she drives that car like she's sweating the repo man. I didn't know what to think yet. Maybe it was just savings. Maybe she had a side hustle. But my gut wouldn't sit still. The kind of restlessness that doesn't come from gossip, but recognition. The kind that whispers, "There's something you need to see." So I started watching. No drama, no confrontation, just paying attention. The next Sunday, we had a little cookout. DeAndre brought Tasha over. No mention of a celebration. No ring flashing. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know they were married. That bothered me more than I expected. How easy it was for her to pretend like nothing had changed. She offered to help in the kitchen, so I let her. It gave me a reason to talk, without making it obvious. as we stood side by side, slicing cucumbers in my worn-down kitchen. I asked softly, "So, y'all settled into married life yet?" I kept my voice low, just enough sweetness to hide what I was hunting for. She smiled, eyes fixed on her hands. "It's nice. Quiet. We're taking things slow, figuring out next steps." "Next steps?" I asked. You know, bills, living arrangements, all that adult stuff." She laughed. Something about that formal answer sounded off, like she was reciting lines. I turned to her gently. "You said you two got married last week, but I never seen no license, no photos. He didn't even bring you by for a celebration slice of pie." She paused, just for a second, a tiny breath, and I caught it. Her hand tensed. Then she spoke fast. "Well, you know, everything don't have to be on paper to be real. Miss Carla, some stuff just belongs to the heart." And with that, she walked out of the kitchen, cucumber slices uneven as a lie. That night, I couldn't sleep again. But this time, it wasn't sadness.